Good morning and welcome to Chess League. Today we are going to have a look at some interesting positions from round number 6. The first game is Oscar versus Jamie. Let's have a look at this position. We are on move number 17 at the moment. You see the pawns on f6 and f7 are doubled. You see the pawn on b5 is making this diagonal very weak. You see how nicely white's pieces are developed, how centralized white's pawn are. By far white has advantage here, big advantage. The most obvious way how to achieve winning position for white here would have been to play g4, attacking the knight on h5. Knight has to go to g6, and the next move is f4, threatening f5 and capturing the knight on g6. If black played h6, white can play f5, again attacking the knight. Black needs to play bishop h7. Now please have a look at this bishop on h7. It's, even though it's a bishop, but it's in reality like a pawn, because there's no way this bishop can actually be put back into play. It's completely blocked by white pawns and by black pawns. Here white can simply play queen e3, attacking the pawn on h6. If black played king g7, defending the pawn, here there's a nice maneuver for white. Knight to g2, then f4, then knight to h5 check, and winning the pawn on h6, and then winning the pawn on f6. There's no way black can defend this position. Another way how to win this position for white would be still to play g4, bishop g6, and now white can play queen f3. The purpose of this move is to use two weaknesses in black's position. Number one, this diagonal, and number two, the pawn on f6. So white are now threatening to do two things: take the pawn on f6 and play e5, winning the knight on c6. So for example, if here black play king g7, defending the pawn on f6, white can simply play e5, winning the knight on c6. If here black played something like rook e8, white can simply take queen takes f6, king g8, and then knight takes g6, h takes g6, and queen takes g6 check, because this pawn is pinned, achieving a winning position. That's the way white could have won this game. The second game we're going to have a look at is Alex versus Alistair. Now, before we actually start analyzing this position, I must admit that in this tournament, there are several games where white played really good chess, beating their opponents. There are also several games where black played brilliant chess, outplaying their opponents. But this game, that's the only game where white and black managed to play very solid, high quality chess. You would not find any blunders, you would not find any obvious mistakes, you would not find any missed opportunities in this game. There's a couple of inaccuracies, however, here. One of them happened right in this position, where black decided to play d5 to d4. Usually this breakthrough move brings benefit when black's pieces are better developed than white's pieces. In this position, however, black's pieces and white's pieces are equally developed, so this move d5 to d4 equalized the game even further, with no advantage to either side. Instead, there's a couple of opportunities which black could have used here. Number one, they could have played queen to d7 with idea rook to d8. And the second one, which I liked even more, would be to play knight to e5 with idea knight to c4, making the position of the knight far better. If black managed to play knight e5 with idea knight c4, they would have put a bit more pressure onto white's position. The third game is Iker versus Anthony. We are on move number 14 at the moment. Let's see what this position brings to us. The first thing to notice here is that knight on c6 and rook on a8 are on one diagonal. Having a light square bishop should indicate to us that we can somehow use this weakness in black's position. We cannot play bishop to e4 straight away because this square is covered by black's knight. However, what we could have done, we could have played bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, and then bishop to e4, winning the exchange. There's no way how black can defend the knight here. Next game, Aarnav versus Aimin. Let's have a look at this position. The position is almost equal. The only one thing which should maybe indicate slight advantage for black here is the position of white's knight on h4. It's not so easy to use this position of white's knight, especially considering the fact that the very next move white can play knight to f3 or knight to f5. So black need to do something really quick. Now the most probably obvious way to try to use the position of white's knight would be to play e4. That move prevents white from playing knight to f3 because this square is now captured by e-pawn. That move also prevents white from playing knight to f5 because that square is now captured by black's queen. The idea of this move is to now play pawn to g5 and white's knight would have been captured. If white tried to defend somehow like g3 with the idea to play knight to g2, then black would have played knight to d4 with the idea e takes d3 and then simply queen h1 checkmate. White in this position can play something like bishop to g4, and if g5, knight to f5, but black can play here f5, winning two pieces for a rook and a pawn. I'm pretty sure that if black played e4 in this position, they would put a lot of pressure on white's pieces. It's not so easy to spot this move, e5, e4, but if trained properly, the player definitely should get this move. Alright, thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you next time and goodbye.